Good morning YouTube, welcome back to another vlog whilst I'm out with the dog of working relationships. Stick around, we'll have a quick chat. So when I'm going to be talking about working relationships, I'm going to cover my experiences, and as with all of these chats, these are my experiences, my thoughts, and the ways that I've dealt with things. So again, it's always going to be an individual touch. Let's just have a little look at things. So I've had a couple of messages come through, because as I put to people all the time, if you've got any questions or you want me to cover anything, then please ask. And this is one of the things that's been brought up a couple of times. It's about working with other people and taking on employees and things like that. Now, some might, when I start talking about this, might think that my experience of employees is quite limited, and that would be truthful thought for several reasons. I've kept it that way. So I'm going to jump back a few years now and tell you about some of my first experiences with working with and alongside other people. When I first started out, I wasn't really interested in working with other people. I didn't want to share what I thought was trade secrets. I didn't want to share what advertising I thought worked. I certainly wouldn't want to engage with any other gardeners or landscapers within my local community. That's wrong, really wrong. I first started out not really knowing too many people. I didn't put myself out to try and find people, to try and find help. So what I ended up doing, vlog with a dog egg to deal with, hang on. Right, now that dirty situation's dealt with. So when I first started, I thought, well, I don't know if other people have done this before, but I asked family for help on jobs, and I had my brother who's fresh out the army and is a plumber. He was self-employed, and I had him help me out as and when on jobs. Sort of he would invoice me for works, which was fine. So it was literally a day rate sort of thing. But it's always difficult working with family, and personally I would strongly discourage it. I also had my father work for me. Oh, sorry, let me rephrase that. Nobody's ever worked for me. I have people work with me. And anyway, going back to my brother, he was fresh out of the army. And unfortunately he ended up having relations with one of my customers for a one-off job. Enough said about that, the better. Anyway, so that was a far from ideal situation. I think one of the main issues is with working with family is the hierarchy type thing. I think, and as I say, these are just I thinks, that it's difficult for, say, in the situation where it's father and son, and the son is his youngest child. It's difficult for a role reversal, let's say, for somebody else to take instructions when forever you've been the one giving instructions to that person. So it's difficult. I'm not saying we ever clashed, but I would say I found it difficult at times offering what I wanted out of the job and how I would like the job to go. It soon becomes very clear that I needed casual help, but I wasn't interested in full-time taking somebody on. Now, I went through various self-employed people who would help on ad hoc basis, which was always it was inconvenient, if I'm honest, because you need somebody to be more available, and if they're self-employed, most of my jobs were actually falling on weekends and things like that, so it becomes difficult with timing and all that sort of thing. I had this one chap who was very good, and I actually had some regular customers. He was self-employed, but I had these customers that he would go to, and I'd set out tasks, and he had his regular jobs to do and such. But unfortunately that didn't work out. A customer's machine got broken, and I had to foot the bill for the mistake and rectify the issue. I had some customers asking if he was actually still coming, because he wouldn't turn up some days. And of course then there was discrepancies with trying to keep track of money's due and things like that, and that comes down to a trust thing, where if you're sending somebody out on their own and it's on an ad hoc sort of basis, but it's on an hourly rate, there's got to be a lot of trust there. That's from both parties, don't get it wrong, that it's all that you've got to trust them. You've got to look from their point of view, that they're going to trust you for that you're good for the payments, because if you're billing the customer direct, they've got to have it in their mind that you're going to pass that payment on. And of course you've got the issues of, you're obviously wanting to make money out of them. So if you're charging the customer £20–25 an hour, but you're paying them £15 an hour, you know, you've got to have that, there's always that in the back of your mind, that that person might take on that client direct, because after all, they're the ones building the relationship direct with them. Another time I've had somebody else turn up smelling of drugs. Now I have absolutely no problem with anybody who does what they want to do in their own recreation time, but not customer facing for me. It's yeah, it's far from the image that I want to portray, and far from professional in my eyes. But as I say, if they want to do whatever they do in their own time, it's completely fair enough. Tell you what, it's an absolutely stunning morning here. The frost is gorgeous, where it just crisps over everything. All the frozen puddles. It's we're late January. Or are we? Well, yeah, we're in the later part of January now, and it's finally feeling like winter. Crazy. So I'm going to skip forward a few years, and one day I get, through a mutual friend, I get given a phone number for a chap who's been made redundant, and he's looking to start up a gardening business. And this was always something that I wanted to steer clear of. I wanted to stay away from somebody who was going to be, one, competition, and two, could potentially pinch my clients. But I was in need of help, so I thought I would give this guy a call. Now, Nick doesn't do YouTube, but he knows that I do it, and I'm sure he won't mind, because the job that we're going to have a look at is one that he and I were doing, but under his company. The relationship that we've got is he runs his own business, I run mine, but we have trust in each other to price up each other's day rate, so we know what each other can bring to the party. We know what tools each other have and what skill sets each other have, and we can price up into said jobs each other's wage. He lives about 20 minutes away from me, so he's far enough away not to be direct competition. He's close enough to be help, and the relationship works really well. But I'll tell you why this relationship works really well, and that's because of trust. I have very open conversations with him about jobs and about the prices that I'm charging. He will ask my opinion. We'll take photos of works and we'll discuss them, because we never do job quotes on the spot. And I'll say, well, I think that's a fair price. No, I think you could do this, or I think you could do that, and so forth. So we discuss each job that we are going to do independently, even if it's a job that I might be doing on my own. Might have a little chat with him, gauge his opinions. He might ask me about the runnings of a certain job. You get the drift. There's all sorts of bits that we just chat about. But we have the mutual understanding that we're self-employed people. We tell the customers that, so like on this job that we're looking at, I'm self-employed, I have my own company, and in fact this job that we're doing, it's closer to my doorstep than it is his. But it doesn't bother me that he scored a job and they didn't entertain myself for it. That particular day his marketing worked better than mine. We work on the basis that I invoice him. He invoices the customer. If he makes extra money out of labour, which I hope he does, then good, as he should. We have the understanding that if we use my tools, I will be charging him extra for the certain tools. If fuel is being used, then that understanding. Even on jobs when I have asked him to go collect an extra bit of timber, I throw him an extra couple of quid to cover his diesel costs. I have the utmost, what's the word? Dog. I trust him so much, he can get sent away with my business card to pay for materials. We respect one another. We respect when each other are going to get stressed. We can tell when each other are getting stressed, when a job might not be going so planned and perfect, because that's reality. Jobs don't always go right. He's got me out sticky wickets where he's worked weekends. He's got me out sticky wickets where we've worked late into the nights. Once before he even worked for me for free because he knew that I'd buggered up on a job and we had to make money back on it. Oh, sorry, I had to make money back on it, so he gave up free labour. Nice guy, really nice guy. And let's be honest, I've done the same for him. Not because I felt obliged to, but because it's what, let's use the term, it's what friends do. I'm not saying whoever you work with, you've got to be friends with, you've got to go down the pub with, you've got to invite them round for Sunday dinner. I'm not saying that at all. But there's definitely a difference between a good working relationship and an employee. I do think though, now this, as I said, this chat is about my working relationship and how I have helped with Nick, my experiences up to this point. But I do think, I mean, before this, in a previous life, I worked in sales for years, and I did work as a manager in sales in an office, and I'll be honest, it wasn't for me. My heart was never in it. I never enjoyed it. It was my ignorance at the beginning where I thought, I don't need anybody else. I don't want anybody else to help. I want to do this all on my own. It's an ignorant outlook. I'm going to do a video shortly on the subject of when it go tits up, when jobs don't go to plan, when things really don't run smoothly. And I'm going to give you a few examples in depth about jobs which haven't gone right for me. The nitty gritty, the horrible sinking feeling when things really don't go to plan. We shouldn't just talk about the good things. We should openly explore and talk about the bad things in life. I say this now because some of the things about these problems have occurred because of choosing the wrong people. But choosing the right people have helped me get out of sticky situations and get me through. I think something else important to remember with a working relationship is jealousy. You can't be jealous of somebody else's success, and there's days where I might get more inquiries than Nick. There's days where he might get more inquiries come through. I don't hold it against him. I don't get upset. Why should I be upset with somebody else's successes? You know, I see how hard he works, and he works damn hard on my jobs, and I work damn hard on his jobs, because that's how it should be. Being self-employed and working for somebody who you respect, and alongside that person, you give what you would expect from them. And I say that in the sense of, he wouldn't expect me to be working till 8 o'clock at night. I wouldn't expect him to do the same. But because we respect each other, respect the situation we're in, if that's what you got to do, that's what you do. And it's a pleasure to call him a friend as well as a work colleague. Mutual understanding, open and honest, friendly, genuine interest within the person as well. When he asks how I am, how my family is, he genuinely cares. It's the same when I ask him about his. I think it's really important to find somebody who will put their foot on the bottom of your ladder. I worked on so many jobs previously where I've nearly killed myself physically because I've overstretched. I'm sure I might have earned an extra couple of quid out of it, but I priced those jobs wrong. Looking back, those jobs were priced far too cheap for one person to do work, and the only person that benefited was the customer. There's definitely a lot of jobs now which I just won't entertain doing on my own, like big fencing jobs. The strain on your body is too much. Huge clearances, You can't do those sort of things on your own. But it's finding that right person, and it took me upwards of 6 years, I suppose, to find that person. Yeah, really difficult. As I've said in previous videos, honesty is the best policy. You have to be honest, you have to do what you say, and this doesn't just go through to the customers, this goes through to whoever you have to help you out. This is going to sound a bit corny, and it is a bit corny, but I'd hope he says the same about me. Everybody needs a Nick in their life, that person who will be there for them and help them out, give them extra helping hand, will actually be that extra voice, offer input, because you've got two sets of eyes. But to look at the perspective of a job sometimes definitely needs that extra too. Everybody needs somebody. You can't work alone. Sure, the day to day. Oh, cat. Dog doesn't like cats. Terrier. So anyway, I'm going to finish the video up there. I'll say thank you very much, and catch up again soon with another vlog. Oh, can't get him in shot. Vlog while out with a dog. I wouldn't have minded him being in a relationship. Well, no.